studio production begins in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Welcome to Community Foundation Spotlight. I'm Spicer Bell. I'm the president of the Community Foundation of the Eastern Shore. And through this series of programs, we shine the Community Foundation Spotlight on nonprofit organizations that are making a difference for all of us here in the Lower Shore. And today we're going to be talking about the Boy Scouts and the Delmarva Council and some of their activities. My guest is Kevin Lescalette. Kevin is, what is your official title now?
It is Development Director.
Development Director. And you covered the whole council.
No, I cover everything from Dover south.
Well, that's a lot of territory.
It still is a lot.
So, well, Kevin, welcome, and we're glad to have you with us. It's always nice to get an update on what's happening with Boy Scouting in the area. But let's be personal for a little bit. You've been involved in scouting for quite a while, haven't you?
I have. I joined Cub Scouting back when I was 8 years old. My mother was my den mother at that time. Now call them den leaders, because women and men can do everything in scouting. And I never left. I came up through Cub Scouting and Boy Scouting and Sea Scouting and camp staff, and it just drew me right to this career. And I just wouldn't be doing anything else.
So you worked at several levels in terms of a staff person for scouting.
I went to Baltimore first and spent 18 years in Baltimore, and then in 2000 I was invited to come back home to Delmarva, and I started as a camping director and then worked my way, and I had an opportunity to come back down here and serve this community that I grew up in. So I've been able to give back in terms of membership and trying to recruit out of the schools that I grew up in, and just serve this community, and now try to raise money in the community as well.
And I think I tripped over it recently. We're fortunate. We have one of the top scout councils in the country, don't we?
That's right, we do. Yeah, we are in that top percentage of councils that operate with an annual budget that balances itself and continued membership growth. And we're kind of flat right now, but we see opportunities where we're just going to grow and just keep growing as a council.
Great. We're going to talk about that a little bit along the line. Why should anyone encourage a young person to be involved in scouting?
I personally believe that this is the best program for kids in the country, and I'm just a little biased by that, but who could blame me for that? But I just think it's what we teach our kids through this program. We do some of the same things our sports teams do for kids, but I think we go steps beyond that in teaching them what our mission says, that we're going to teach them, ethical decision making and citizenship, physical and mental fitness, things like that through the Scout Oath and the Scout Law. And the Boy Scouts have been doing that for 101 years now. And no other organization can say they've been around that long doing that for kids and for families. So there's our model right there, is what we do for families.
Yeah. I ran, I'm not going to remember them very well, but I ran across some remarkable statistics recently. The number of Rhodes Scholars who were former Scouts, the number of astronauts.
Yeah, just about every one of them has been a Scout or an Eagle Scout.
Or Eagle Scouts, what have you. So it develops a type of character and experiences in a young person that really can lead to great things in their life.
It absolutely can. And our military, takes great pride in our Scouts that come and join the ranks of the military, and they honor them with a pay grade increase in a lot of those areas immediately upon joining. And that being an Eagle Scout or having scouting in your background is going to carry you farther, because people see that. And they know that you've been through some kind of a leadership program that they can trust.
Now, we live in the era of social networking and texting and video games and all those distractions. Is scouting going to be popular enough to really survive all that?
I do believe it is. I believe that we offer and change our program enough to adapt to the change in society. Whether it's computers or this week, the Boy Scouts just released a brand new merit badge. It's the robotics merit badge. That's popular among teens right now. And you've got competitions and school teams and county teams and competitions. And to take that kind of thing and blossom like that. The Boy Scouts looks at what kids are looking at right now, what they want to do, and where they can be successful down the road. Let them try that out. And that's what our merit badge program does. It gives boys a chance to try out what could be a career for them. And recently we had the Merit Badge College here at Salt Spring University. And over 600 Lower Shore kids came for 2 weekends to work on merit badges, to where they got to experience a potential career.
Tell more about a merit badge college. Tell more about that. I mean, that's the type of thing we maybe have some viewers who are parents or grandparents, and understanding that scouting opens opportunities like that might encourage them to get the kids involved.
It does, and this has grown from where we started with having like 100 scouts come through it the first year we did it. I think this was our 5th year, and this is a great partnership that we formed with Salisbury University, and it gives the boys and some of the parents a chance to see campus life. They get to experience the classroom part of their merit badges, and then they get to experience in a shift format what it is to eat over in the commons at Salisbury University. So they get to see what the students see. But then on top of that, this event gives us a chance to partner with people in the community, whether teachers at the university, community leaders who come, and they're merit badge counselors to these scouts on those 2 weekends. And they're going to experience that career. So a parent that says, what can Boy Scouting do for my teenage son, is an opportunity where our guidance departments struggle with right now with everything they do to teach what careers are out there for our kids. Scouting can do that for them as well. Mm-hmm. And it's fun.
It's interesting. Of course, when I worked in schools, I experienced very graphically many young people and make career decisions very early. If depending on which math and science courses they start taking at the 9th grade, closes off a lot of career opportunities for them. And it would seem to me that participation in scouting broadens their experiences so they can make those decisions much more
It does.
wisely.
If they find out they really don't like science and don't like the environmental science merit badge or soil and water conservation, I want to go dig into the dirt, that's not for me. I want to do computers, or I want to be outside doing something. They get to experience that on just a small scale to see what do I like and what don't I like. And there's 121 or 122 merit badges to pick from. So there's a broad scope of the things they can learn.
Chance to find out where their real passion is and get turned on
That's right.
to something like that. I know you mentioned a while ago, I know there's a lot of emphasis now in what's called STEM programs, science, technology, engineering, math. Our country is falling behind in terms of their training of engineers and mathematicians and what have you. We need to encourage more young people to pursue those careers. And you mentioned robotics merit badge. I imagine you have other merit badges and other programs that encourage
We have
STEM.
cinematography that they can learn how to make movies and do this kind of things. And our kids love to do this technology stuff. I think our kids can teach us a thing or two about computers, and I learned that from my son. And they learn more than we ever knew about computers, and they can teach us. So it's a give and take for our scouts and these leaders that we have.
I have to ask a young person just to figure out how to use my cell phone anymore.
They change so drastically.
So, well, very good. And I think a lot of what you're saying. We're talking about Boy Scouts today, but it's equally true of the Girl Scouts program also.
That's true.
We
all have to keep up with the times.
Some exciting opportunities there also. With so many options available for kids today, what do you say, or what do you find leaders and parents are able to say to encourage kids to get involved in scouting?
Well, I think the best way that we can talk to a young man about joining scouting, whether it's a Cub Scout age in the 1st through 5th grade, or a Boy Scout in older 6th through 12th grade, is another scout inviting that boy to join. And we have open house opportunities in the fall in our schools. Or a Boy Scout troop could have an open house any time during the year. And so you get your boys that are engaged in the program now to go find a friend and bring them. That is the best way. And it's been proven that way, that once a friend brings another one, they stick together and they'll stay through the program till the end. Other than that, we do have opportunities, through the year to where we can put out flyers in schools and churches and do special recruiting opportunities. Or we have events like the Merit Badge College where the public gets to see what we do, and maybe they wander in just finding out that we're having it and want to know more. Mm-hmm. And then through Facebook. We've been using the social media right now to try and branch out and let people know what we do, and then some of our fundraising events. We get an opportunity to share with our donors and parents in the community what we do, and that attracts them and lets them know what we're doing.
If someone or a group of folks or an organization, a sponsoring organization is interested in starting a troop, how do they go about doing that?
And they can call our council office
Is
or
there
visit our.
support available for that, or are they just out on their own?
No, never out on their own. We have a district
I knew
executive.
that was a loaded question.
It is.
So.
We have a district executive, a paid person from our staff that is in each, not county, but we have districts that the peninsula is broken up into, to where that person then, somebody wants to start one, they can say, okay, where do you go to church? Where do you go to school? Let's see what might be out there already. But if they're from a church in a community or an organization in a community that wants to start something where there is nothing, or even if there is, let's sit down and talk about it. And we form what's called a chartered partner relationship, where we franchise our program to that organization. And so we agree to certain terms that we want the program run just as it's written, but we also want to help benefit their organization and their reach in the community. And we form that partnership. And then we can identify parents, identify leaders, train the leaders, and then bring our scouts in and operate the program with them. And that's been effective since the day scouting started, is to find that local organization that knows who their parents are, knows who their potential leaders are, so we know they're the best we can find. And then we can run a program right there and support that community.
When you're working with an organization to start a troop, or you're recruiting leaders and what have you, we live in a day and age where there's a great deal of concern over the welfare of children.
That's right.
Unfortunately. What kind of steps do the Scouts take to make sure that kids involved are protected?
There's two ways that we do that. And through every adult leader that applies to become a leader, we do a background check. And that's done immediately. Before the unit ever can start, we have to do that. So that we want that done. And we train the leaders as well on how to protect themselves so they're not accused. And then through our handbooks, we have a section in every program of our scouting program to where they learn about the signs of child abuse and how to protect themselves as scouts. What the signs are, what to look for, they can watch out for each other. And our parents in each program have a role to sit down and talk with their children about that. And that's written into the advancement program. So that before they can earn their Bobcat badge, which is the first thing a Cub Scout does, or their Scout rank as a Boy Scout does, they need to discuss that as a family so that they're aware of what's out there and they know how to protect themselves. And the BSA prides ourselves on being the #1 youth agency on protecting our kids. And we keep strengthening what we do every year.
Screening and training and awareness.
Absolutely. And other organizations, churches that have to do the background checks, love that we do it. And so as we go into schools, they know that we're doing that, and we'll do whatever it takes to make sure we protect the kids as we go into schools as well.
Great. You're watching Community Foundation Spotlight. I'm Spicer Bell. I'm the president of Community Foundation of the Eastern Shore, and today we're talking scouting, and specifically Boy Scouting. And my guest is Kevin Lascalette, who's with the Delmarva Council of the Boy Scouts of America. And Kevin, it's great having you here.
It's great being here.
Let's say what is the eligibility age? Let's start at the bottom.
At the bottom.
At the bottom. Cub
Earliest
Scout.
age, okay.
Earliest age.
They need to be
how old, and how does somebody find a troop or a pack in the case of Cubs and that sort of thing?
Well, let's talk about the ages first.
Okay.
Once they're in first grade or graduated out of kindergarten, they can join Cub Scouting. Okay. And they'll start as a tiger cub in that first grade. And there'll be a wolf and then a bear, and then 4th and 5th grade is what's called our We Belows program. And for those that don't know, that stands for We'll Be Loyal Scouts. It's just one of those made-up words that we have, but it works. And that starts to teach them the outdoor program. So once they get out of 5th grade, they're eligible to join Boy Scouts. And that goes from 6th grade until they turn age 18. And then they can become an adult leader in the program. If someone is interested in learning, where there might be a local Cub Scout pack, there's a new website the Boy Scouts have developed, and it's beascout.org. And if they log right on there, put in their zip code, they can find out what Cub Scout packs are there. And there's a map dot. They can click on the map dart. It gives you what the leader's name is, when they meet, where they meet, and a little history of what that pack or that troop is doing. And they can, based on geography and the information they find, say, I'd like to go visit this one. They can call direct and go schedule a visit, or they can call our office and schedule a time with one of our staff members to come sit with them and help get a visit set up for them.
Great. Great. So that's easy.
It is.
And doesn't have to be a particular, I know you recruit come in the fall, but it doesn't have to be a particular time of year.
Any time of year.
Anytime somebody's new to the area, they want to make, if somebody's been in a scout troop someplace else, they can connect with a pack or
They can
troop
transfer
here.
here. You know, we're seeing a lot of growth in the Wallops area, so we know that we're going to have those families that, and the university professors that come in, families that move in. We want to make sure we're a year-round program, that the timing doesn't matter. We'll get them in.
And when do young men usually make the transition from Cub Scouts to Boy Scouts?
When they finish 5th grade.
5th grade.
So it's in that time frame, that 10 and a half age.
Now, it used to be, when I was in Cub Scouting, many decades ago, Cub Scouts didn't camp. But Cubs get to camp now, don't they?
They do. They do.
Get
We
the
encourage that
outdoor
camping.
experience.
That will keep them engaged in the program. That it just provides for more activity for not just the Cub Scout, but for their family. Because we want parents there. We need the parents there to help run the program as well. And we have opportunities for Cub Scout day camp in the summer, Cub Scout overnight camp in the summer. And it's just a lot of fun. They didn't have it when I was a Scout either, so it was new to me as it started coming out.
And we're very fortunate here in the Tri-County district. We have a great scout camp in our backyard over at Henson Scout Reservation at Sharptown.
That we do.
So describe the Henson experience a little bit for folks who haven't been there. What's there?
1,500 and almost 1,600 acres worth of beautiful property on the corner of the Nanticoke River and the Marshy Hope Creek. And that camp opened in 1965, and it still continues to grow. And we're full every summer, especially with our Boy Scouts, our Cub Scouts we're growing with. And it's still something parents are not used to doing, but it is a beautiful camp property. And it's one of the most widely acclaimed camps here on the East Coast. We draw people for Boy Scout camp from New York, New Jersey, D.C., Pennsylvania, North Carolina. We've had them at times. They hear about us, they see us on the web, and they want to come visit our camp. And the facilities are just amazing.
Yeah, and you can canoe, beautiful swimming pool for swimming,
It's beautiful.
hiking,
Dining hall is just
archery.
You get fed every day. And
Well, that's a little different from when I was there.
that's right, and it did change. But
and I was over there. I don't know if it was last summer. Or I guess it was last summer. I was over with you all and had a luncheon there with a group of I think it were the Boy Scouts during a Boy Scout week, and it's the enthusiasm of the kids when they're in that environment. It's amazing. But there's a rifle range and an archery range and
a fishing pond,
in nature area lodge and ropes courses and just
and now we have a brand new climbing tower that's just
new
opened
climbing
last
tower.
summer. That just opened.
So, this is adrenaline boosting stuff for young people and an opportunity for them to really open new horizons for themselves.
That
It's
is,
great.
it's absolutely amazing. It's your outdoor laboratory.
And they do have mosquitoes about the size of sparrows over there.
The county there has taken good care of us the last few years, so they have not been very bad. So,
Good.
we're hoping and praying that the county takes care of us
And
again.
I can say that I grew up in Dorchester County. The national bird over there is the mosquito.
It is,
So-
and the horsefly too.
That's right. That's right. You're always looking for leaders. If somebody's out there who might be, there are people like myself who were Scouts as a kid and may still have a little bit of passion for advancing the cause of Scouting or just working with kids. How do they get involved?
That is becoming one of the biggest things that we have to address as an organization is attracting and bringing back our alumni to come and reconnect either with a local troop or with a district, doing something that fits their schedule. And so through our national office and an alumni link that I can give you later is they can reconnect right to the local council. And we just received the latest update from the office this week that tells us who has gone on that website saying, I want to get back involved in some way. And so we're just, as we're forming alumni search committees to help reconnect with each of these alumni that have gone online and said, I want to do this, and try and find a way to fit them back into the program. Whether it's helping with a troop one night a week or one night a month, being a merit badge counselor, helping to run a camporee or something like that, just whatever fits their time to give back and say, I was a Scout, I'm still a Scout, I want to do this.
Yeah. I mean, I admit my bias. Scouting was one of the outstanding experiences of my youth. I had an opportunity to attend a national jamboree. Well, just one of the most phenomenal experiences that I ever I actually did two jamborees, one and then subsequently as an adult leader. They were both remarkable experiences. So scouting from time to time provides other things outside the area, like jamborees, like high adventure camping.
That's right.
Talk a little bit about that.
Well, we have several high adventure bases as a part of our program. We have Philmont Scout Ranch, which a lot of people know about. We have the Florida Sea Base, which just takes kids out. We've got a crew that's going down from this area with about 20 or 30 scouts from Salisbury and going to go out on a big sailboat for a week. And so they're looking forward to that adventure, and so are the parents as well. And then we have a northern tier area up in the Great Lakes area that will get kids outdoors. And now we've got a new one that's getting ready to open in 2013. It's the Summit Bechtel Reserve, which will be the new home of the permanent home of the National Scout Jamboree. But in the non-Jamboree years will be a high adventure base.
Now, where is it located?
It's in West Virginia.
Oh,
And the property was donated to the Scouts to be able to be used for this, and it's just going to be an amazing experience. It'll be like no other jamboree the Boy Scouts have ever seen, to where it'll be, pack your stuff in, pack your stuff out. It won't be like the big cities that we've had at other jamborees. So they're releasing little bits at a time through Facebook and other avenues, and through the national website, scouting.org, what's happening at this site and how we're helping as scouts and leaders to develop what we want in that new high adventure base, and they're listening.
I'm out of date now. When I was a kid and a scout, I used to get a monthly magazine called Boys Life. Is it still there?
It is still there.
It's still there.
Still running just as well. And for parents that may have never seen it, it's a great reading tool for kids. And in our Cub Scout ages, they're at different reading levels in each group. So when your son is in second grade, he gets it with different articles that are at his reading level. And they get to fifth grade, it's a little higher, and then the Boy Scouts get it at a different reading level. So it's teaching kids to read. It's providing that tool for parents too.
I mean, as a kid, that was something that came home. That was mine.
And which page did you flip to first?
Oh gosh, there was a cartoon page I remember.
Scouts in Action is one that I did, and then you always went to the joke page at the back.
Okay, there were jokes, and then there was always a puzzle page.
There still is that too.
And there was some kind of an outdoor page. It was the adventures of somebody, and he'd do outdoor stuff. He'd have to
The stories are just
start
amazing.
a fire without any matches and things like that we think of Scouts as doing. And
That's right.
But you learn the outdoor experience is certainly at the heart of scouting, but it's part of what creates those memories and those friendships that young people carry the rest of their life.
That's right. And those are the first things you are going to remember and share later in life.
They really are. Now, as development director for the council, you have real challenging in these economic times. Somebody's out there is listening who's maybe a Scout alumna. How can they help?
They can help in a lot of different ways, whether it's acting as a volunteer or, helping to provide funding or helping with one of our fundraisers that we have to support the council. We just want to reconnect with our alumni in any way that we can. And we raise money in a lot of different ways. Directly with our units, we do a campaign that asks our parents to help give what they can out of their family budget to help support. Our Scouts are out on the street and in front of stores during the fall selling popcorn.
Girl Scouts have cookies.
They have cookies.
Boy
We
Scouts
have popcorn.
Buy popcorn.
That's it. Buy lots of popcorn. We're going to be kicking off that sale at the end of August and just ready to go back out on the street anywhere we can, just connecting with people and selling our great, delicious popcorn.
And you have an exciting major project underway for the council that I know you're looking for support for. Tell a little bit about that.
That we are. We are running a capital campaign now as we speak. Peninsula-wide, and we've done very well down here on the lower shore. We've got some great volunteers doing that. But this project, the council right now is technically homeless. We sold our service center, our headquarters building in Wilmington, and we're going to build a brand new service center a little more central to the peninsula, just south of Dover. We purchased 88 acres of land to build what will be a new Cub Scout camp, so we'll take our Cub Scouts out of Henson Scout Reservation in the future. but the home of the service center and a scout store will be right there on that property. So we're looking to raise, I think $3.2 million more to get our phase one done, which gets that service center done. And we think we'll have that done by the end of the summer to be able to break ground and be done with this office building by June 12th of next year and have it open and ready to go to serve our community.
Great. Looking forward to that. And locally, you just recently hosted a Distinguished Citizen Award dinner. How'd that go?
Oh, it's just amazing. I've had so much fun doing this event. And we honored Pete Cooper, Mr. Salisbury in my book. And if you don't know him, you've never been across the Route 50 bridge in Cambridge or in Ocean City. But just a great gentleman who's had a blast just helping us put this together to honor him, to raise money for the Boy Scouts and just share what he's done for our community. And we found out through this process that he designed the road system that's in our Henson Scout Reservation back in 1964.
Really?
By boat. He had to travel there and help do that before the camp was built.
It doesn't surprise me.
And just a
And
great
Pete
event.
just recently had his 100th birthday.
The same year as the Boy Scouts.
Remarkable career. So, well, Kevin, really appreciate you coming in with us and sharing such kind of updating our viewers on Boy Scouts. And we hope some of the folks will be in contact with you and help you continue all the great work that you're doing.
Thank you very much. I'm glad to be here.
Great. Thank you very much. You've been watching Community Foundation Spotlight here on Pac14. I want to remind you of two great projects the Community Foundation is currently working on. One is the Help Strike Out Hunger program. And the Community Foundation is partnered with the Arthur W. Purdue Foundation, the Delmarva Shorebirds, and the area food banks to help relieve hunger in our community. We're raising money. We're raising food, and we're raising volunteers to support the work of the food banks. If you go to a Shorebirds game this year, the Arthur W. Purdue Foundation and the Community Foundation have teamed together, and we're donating $20 to local food banks for every time a Shorebird pitcher strikes out an opposing batter. So come out and score and cheer for the Shorebirds. Also, the Community Foundation is sponsoring the Help Your Neighbor campaign, an effort to fund energy assistance, food assistance, and prescription assistance for needy families and senior citizens in our community. I urge you to stay tuned and watch a brief public service announcement about Help Your Neighbor. And thanks for watching Pac14.
Would you like to see your community organization or nonprofit group featured on Pac14? To get started, contact us at 410-677-5014 or visit our website at www.pac14 is a great way to connect with your community.